That's a good question. But say it one more time. I need to think about it for 1 second longer. That's a great question. So in my 20s, I was bouncing around from job to job. Wasn't really 100% sure in terms of what I wanted to do. So yeah, I worked in everything from finance to marketing. Worked for an ad agency for a little bit as well, and realized that what I really enjoyed was helping people solve problems, and that was also super competitive myself. So I was kind of lost in terms of what would be the right role for me after marketing. I worked with a career coach at that time and realized that hey, I'm a very competitive person and also like helping people as well. So I should explore sales, and I had a couple friends in sales as well. So yeah, I did my homework on it. Realized that it was something that I wanted to learn, and also the money was really good in it as well. So yeah, I started applying to tech companies and landed at Oracle and haven't looked back since. I typically, when people come to me, they've tried it on their own to get another job. I would say that though it's really important throughout this whole process is that you have to treat the job search like it's a sales cycle at the end of the day. So a lot of people will normally just try and mass apply online or go through referrals. And while that used to work 4 or 5 years ago, it doesn't have as much of an impact as it has now. So typically what we do is we help people find who those decision makers are in the company, much like you would in a sale. This is usually the hiring manager who will help you put together the right messaging that can at least get you into the cycle, and then we'll help you go through that whole process to ultimately land the job. So yeah, that's why I'd say most people come to me when they're stuck. They haven't had any success on their own, and they're looking for more accountability and a proven system to land their next awesome job. I mean, the reality is at the end of the day, sales is a numbers game, pretty tough. How we get a lot of my clients to stand out is we build them a personalized pitch deck that you can lead with throughout the interview, which talks about, how you've been able to, what's your philosophy when it comes to sales? What's your account planning strategy? What's your 30, 60, 90-day plan? Who are you normally selling to? Those are that's more about your philosophy overall in terms of sales and how you get the how you essentially go about thinking about it on a day-to-day basis. So that's one of the things that we do. Look, at the end of the day, this isn't a product problem, it's a marketing problem. And how do we go and stand out and show our best selves when there's a lot of other people that are vying for the same position? Yeah, I mean, the reality is this is look, there's 5 things that a hiring manager is really looking for in you. It's what your grit is, your work ethic, your past KPIs, are your discovery skills in general, and intelligence. Those are really the 5 key points that they're looking for when they're going through an interview process with you. That's a really good question. So essentially what they're looking for in this process is, do you treat the job search like it's a sales cycle? So for example, are you sending agendas in advance of what the interview should look like? When you open the interview, are you talking about using an upfront contract? Are you doing discovery as you're actually interviewing and asking really good questions along the way? When you're doing presenting to the room, they're really just looking for your executive presence. Are you owning the room? Are you answering all and working the different personas the right way? Most importantly, are you closing the meeting with next steps and a call to action? Those are really the big things that they're looking for throughout this, and that gives them a really good understanding of how you will perform once you're in that role, and also speaking with other executives as well. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. So, if that's the way, a company is treating you through the whole process, you have to ask, is this a place I actually want to work with overall? Oh, look, it's a lot like dating at the end of the day. You have to make sure that it's a good fit for for you. You're asking the right questions, and if someone's treating you like that on the first date, probably don't want a second one. So yeah, that's how I would think about that situation. Like if you were selling to someone, let's just say like a CRM software, for example, you do this, you've probably been through hundreds of sales cycles with a customer who's evaluating. They're lucky enough to do this once, maybe twice in their life when it comes to evaluating a CRM software. So, really guiding them through the process and letting them know in advance of like what hurdles will be and like things like that. Like that's really an important really like important throughout it. But I also like think that like leveraging what's I call customer voice is really important. So yeah, those are like so at least like showing that way you can you'll be able to like position yourself more as an expert throughout the whole process. Definitely goes a long way. I think a lot of like reps, they're not just used to like really thinking about like really what's important for a lot of these new hiring managers now, because like there's more scrutiny. A lot of like the economy itself has been like on a wild ride over the last 2 years. So there's a couple of things that like you really need to highlight. One is really just focusing on like what your strategy is overall, and like your own pipeline generation is super important. So being able to show that like you have the grit to get through that whole process makes a ton of sense. Also, from like a strategy standpoint, like you just have to know your stories inside and out. Really showcase yourself more as like a solution. So understand where like there's gaps on individual teams, and like that when a company brings you in, like you're positioning yourself as that strategic hire. Excuse me, that can really help take you to like the next level. I'd probably say overselling yourself. Like, look, I think it's important to, one of the things that's like really important for people to see is coachability. So like knowing you'll get that like a variation of this question, not all the time, but like what's your greatest weakness? But really what they're looking for at the end of the day is like, what's your level of self-awareness on this? And then like also how are you working towards like fixing like that form of problem? If you're in a position where you're like overselling yourself, like the expectations are just higher at the end of the day for you to go in and like perform. I think it's better to like know exactly like who you are at these situations, show that self-awareness, show how you are working on fixing those blind spots. I think that's the best way to go about the whole process also. And people look, they understand you're human. Not everyone's perfect. I'm not perfect. So like, yeah, just being able to like really showcase that goes a long way. Yeah, and like when I first started, I normally focused on like those people that were trying to break in who may have had zero background. Now I tend to focus a little bit more on people who have some level of experience. But look, like there's ways that you can go about this, and like, what are you doing right now to learn sales? Like one of my awesome students, Will, he is like watching YouTube videos, he's reading books about it, he's listening to podcasts. Like those are things that he's doing on his own and taking those initiatives that you can really focus on and like help do those as well. And look, the reality is like as much like some companies want you to have some level of experience. I had zero sales experience as a BDR, but I showed like those 5 traits. And if you approach this like you are approaching a sales cycle and you're reaching out to the right people and you're doing all of those right things, people will bet on you for that potential overall. So that's just something to consider. But yeah, no, look, it's an overall like I encourage any young person to get into sales. It's been life changing for me, and it really helps. It's a skill that you should have in every facet of life.